Hi, I'm back. I don't know, I've just had some stuff on my mind. My depression's been kicking my ass, and my house is worse than ever. You know, the roommate that I had, who I thought was my best friend, she up and booked on me. Um, I don't know, it was awful coincidental that she left the very day that my money ran out. 3 years she lived here rent free. Um, all I wanted was for her to keep my house clean, and in the end, she wasn't doing that. All she was doing was being high, and it was that xylazine or whatever. I'd come down, and she was always like bent over, all the way over for hours, and I just got so sick of it. And I know it did give me, I felt like it gave me the right to be entitled to treat her any way I wanted to. And yes, I was verbally abusive at times, and I took a lot on her. She was my whipping girl, and it would be vile sometimes. But that's been going on for a long time, and that would happen, and she would say shit to me too, and we'd get over it, say what the shit, and then it'd be done. Um, so why all of a sudden, at this particular time, she left because of my verbal abusiveness? Bullshit. Bullshit. She thought she found a better opportunity. Fucking found some fucking dude. The perks with him, I guess, where he was going to give her 50 a day to take care of his aging mother. He drive his car, access to his car, let her grandkids stay there whenever they wanted. Well, none of that's happening. And then I found out that his last name's Huckleberry. What the fuck? So, I try to keep my mouth shut and not say, where's Huckleberry Hound, or, shit like that. But she comes, when she does come around, she has that smile on her face, because she definitely, I'm the last person that she wants to know that she's unhappy, after the way she fucking left. It was really bad. When I wanted the bitch to leave, I couldn't get rid of her. I sat here, which is something I don't do, and I bawled my eyes out in front of her and begged her to please not leave. I told her I'd do anything to change the things that I was doing wrong. I mean, cried so hard I was hyperventilating, and she just walked right out the door. I thought she was different. Whatever. I'm pretty fucking used to it. So basically, I knew in the end what was going to happen with everybody. I had a large amount of money, and I had all kinds of people hanging around. Drug dealers were kissing my ass, and I was like queen of the fucking drug fucking clan, and as soon as that money ran out, it's a lot different. A lot fucking different. And, they don't realize that I've always been a hustler. Always. I didn't need that money. Before I had that money, I was hustling my ass off. But I'm tired. I'm fucking tired, man. And besides, a lot of the hustles I did, if I get caught up anymore, I'm gone. And I don't want to lose my cat in my house, and it's not worth it. And, put it this way, for the past 3 years, and this is the honest truth, and I'm not bragging. It's sickening, really. For the past 3 years, I was probably doing this cocaine-wise, probably an 8 ball a day. I didn't go without having it in my possession for any longer than 20 minutes, tops. And it wasn't spending all my money on it. That was, people that would come over to smoke in my house and give me some, or me doing middlemaning, or doing a run, or selling for a dealer, or whatever. There was all kinds of avenues I had. And every time that, and before I had this money, every time I would get to the point where I didn't have it, it was gone, and I'd be like, there's no way, this is it, and I don't have any avenue of getting any more today. It's over. Something would come along, and then I'd have more. So that was the cocaine alone, an 8 ball a day average. And then the heroin. At one point, I was doing about 500, I swear, a lot of money in drugs a day, you know, with the heroin and that and the Xanax and everything else. And now I don't have that large amount of money that I had. It's been a little over a year and I blew through all of it. And frankly, I'm pretty scared because I've never had to live off a small amount of money ever. I've always had a hustle. I've always had an education with a job. Before I started doing drugs, I had a hustle. I mean, I had a job, then I had a hustle. I learned quickly, you know. But I don't know. I don't know what to do. I need to think of something to do that's legal, you know, and you know, I get some sort of assistance that I allowed myself to do, and my grandparents would just roll in their graves if they knew that I was getting assistance, you know. They didn't believe in that. And at this point, I really do have health problems that significantly, you know, hinder my ability to hold certain kinds of jobs, and I have mental issues from prolonged drug abuse, and it's really messed with my anxiety and my depression. I've always had it, but it's really amplified it over the years. And they like to give you enough assistance just for you to get by in life. And then if you try to get a job, even a part-time job, whatever you get, they take assistance away from you, and the rent here is so extremely, unbelievably high. You know, you're talking like an efficiency apartment is going right as at least 1,300. You know, so I mean, it wasn't like that when I first came here. So I mean, they're pricing the people out that lived here, that were here before. You know, you got all these rich people coming in, and even the shittiest neighborhoods, houses are going for 300,000-400,000 for pieces of shit houses. For real, that piece of shit house that I was living in, it was horrible, absolutely horrible. I know, I lived there for a long time, and it went for almost 300,000. And it was in like kind of a shitty neighborhood. Not the worst neighborhood, but even the southeast side over here, houses are unbelievable. Michigan, period, is getting that way, but Grand Rapids is, you know, a lot of money here in Grand Rapids, and they've regentrified. You know, I lived on the west side, and it has this like, kind of like white trash charm about it, you know, I guess, and they've just made it just so fakey, you know, like, you know, the kind of people, I have to say, it's like the generic, you know, like the standard man, standard female with their standard dog, you know, should have a white shirt with black letters, man, woman, dog, you know, the black lab, we name Winston, or, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's just... And, you know, where are these people, where are these fuckers, how are they making all this money? That's what I want to know. What are they doing? Because they don't seem to have jobs. What are they, YouTubers? What? You know? I don't know. I wish that YouTube wouldn't have been around when I was younger. I wish that all this ability to make this amount of money would have been around when I was in my 20s, you know, because I certainly would probably, you know, be a millionaire at this point. Technology is so above me at this point. I feel like my mother was. I used to get so mad at her. I'm running out of time because, see, I'm so technology stupid that I don't even know how to make these videos last longer. So I'm going to have to continue this in a minute here because it's almost done. I don't know how to edit these videos. I don't do shit. I don't know about AI. And it's like, it's like a foreign language to me. I feel like so stupid, and it angers me because I have an education. I went to an Ivy League school, you know, and top 10% of my class, and I can't figure this shit out.